I'm going to talk about occurring patterns. So let's look at weather warnings. Effects automatically there is no weather warnings. So let's look at the pressure pattern starting from April the 1st. So it's going to go to from April the 1st to April the 5th, the upcoming pattern. So 1000 and something, 1020, 1024, 1032 millibars, 1030, 1022 or 21 millibars of pressure. Let's go to April the 2nd. It is something 1020, 1004, 1012, 1004, 16, 1012, 1016, 1020, 1024, 1028 millibars pressure. This extra pressure doesn't count. So let's go to 8 p.m. There is something 1020, 1020, 16. So 1000 and nothing doesn't count. So let's go to next 24 hours, which is 8 p.m. There is something. So 1004, 1008, 1012 millibars, 1010 in the middle, which is Kohlberg borderline Peterborough something. So sexy Peterborough on the list. So let's go to next hour. There is next hour actually. So let's go to 8 p.m. colder temperatures. So 1016, 1012, 1014, 1014, 18 millibars of pressure, somewhere near London. So London is 1015 actually. So let's go to next hour. There is no next hour. So let's look at precipitation pattern starting from 2 p.m. 4 hours, 1 hour. So there is nothing else. So let's go to 5 p.m. There should be nothing else. 8 p.m. There's nothing else. 11 p.m. there is, let's go back to 8 p.m. properly. So southern Niagara Falls City is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to 8 p.m. There is 11 p.m. actually. So there is something Niagara Falls City southern. Most likely is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next hour. It's 8 a.m. So, but if it's like this, it's going to see some mostly cloudy and clear skies. No, before this. So there is nothing else, including London. So let's go to 11 a.m. There is something. Hamilton, Oakville, Niagara, Niagara Falls City, Port Elgin. Let's see Hanover first. So Hanover is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, or Elgin's going to get some 0.25 millimeters of freezing rain. So let's go to next hour, 2 p.m. There is something. So line said will be while time Port Elgin, Hanover is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of freezing rain. So I check if it's recorded this recording. So Lingwood, Collingwood is gonna get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Palm Beach, Sunny Beach, Sala Bay, Milan, Adela, Betty, Georgia, Beverly Hills, Niagara, Niagara Falls City, Hamilton, Oakville, Sissaga, Brampton, Orange Hill, Downtown Richard Hill, Newmarket, Scarborough, Stouffville, Oshawa, Uxbridge, Coburg, Peterborough, Belleville. Those is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next hour, which is 5 p.m. So line said, Bay White Tempoyals in Hanover is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of freezing rain. So Collingwood, Palm Beach, Stanton Beach, Bay, Midland, Odella, Betty, Georgia, Beverly Hills is going to get some 0.2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Niagara on the Lake, Niagara Falls City, Port Niagara on the Lake, and Niagara Falls City is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, including Hamilton, Oakville, Sissaga, Brampton, Orange Hill, Downtown, Richard Hill, Newmarket, Scarborough, Stouffville, Oshawa, Uxbridge, Coburg, Peterborough, Belleville is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next hour, which is 8 p.m. So Wyaton. Salt Bay, Olala, Betty, Georgia, Beverly Hills gonna get some 0.2.5 millimeters of rain, including boyouts in Hanover, so Hanover again. So let's look at line said OB. Palm Beach, Tiny Beach gonna get some 6.25 millimeters of rainfall, 6.24 in Palm Beach. So Uxbridge gonna get some 2.5 millimeters, including Peterborough. Scarborough, Stouffville, Toronto, Hill, Newmarket, Sissaga, Brampton, Oriental, Oakville, Oshawa, Coburg, Belleville. So those cities are gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, including Collingwood. Heaviest in Niagara Falls is 2.5, lightest is 0.25. Same thing in Niagara on the lake, 2.5 millimeters, so it is nothing else. Niagara on the lake, the heaviest is 0.25, lightest is nothing. So let's go to 11 p.m. There is something. So, like I said, Obey Wharton is going to get some 0.25, 6.25 millimeters of rainfall. So, Bombay 6.25, Dunby is going to get some Fort Layer, which is 12.5 millimeters of rainfall. Saturday is going to be 6.25, 2.5 millimeters. Midland 2.5 millimeters. Georgia, Beverly Hills, Coburg, Scoing Belleville is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. Peterborough is going to get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall, including Oshawa, Uxbridge. So Niagara Falls City, the heaviest, lightest is 0.25, heavy is going to be 6.25 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next hour, which is 8 a.m. There is something. So line said, Barton, Collingwood, Palm Beach, Stanton Beach, Saddle Bay is going to get some 0.25 millimeters, 2.5 millimeters of rainfall, including Barrie, Beverly, Georgia. So, Mississauga, Down Toronto, Richmond Hill, Newmarket, Scarborough, Stouffville, Oshawa, Ipswich, Hamilton, Oakville, those cities are going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, including Waterloo, Hope Bay. So, let's go to next hour, which is 11 a.m. So, Whiteham, Poyolton, Hardware, Collingwood, Dunby, Sotheby, Alala, Midland, that's wrong. So, Dunby, no, Sotheby, Dunby, Midland, Whiteham, Poyolton, Hardware, Georgia, Beverly Hills, Alala, those cities are gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, including Niagara Falls City, Niagara, and Lake Parts of Niagara Falls City, and parts of Niagara, and Lake Hamilton, Oakville, Coburg, Belleville, those are going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, including parts of Scarborough, Portland, Pickering. So Newmarket, Onslow, Stouffville is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. Sissaga, Brampton, Down Toronto, Richmond Hill, parts of Scarborough is going to get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. So northeastern. So let's go to next hour. Bombay's is 0.2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to next hour. Oshawa is going to get some 2.5 millimeters. Uxbridge is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. Barrie is going to get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to next hour, which is which is 8 oh, that's 2 p.m. So, oh, wrong time. Pen. So Whiteton Boylston, Hanover, Collingwood, Bomb, Beast, and Beast, Sada Bay, Land, Alala, Betty, Georgina, Bad Vessels, Newmarket, Onshore, Stoufville, with some breaks. Ports of Scarborough, Sissaga, Brampton, some is Richmond Hills, parts of Scarborough, parts of Oshawa, Coburg, Belleville, those cities are getting got some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, including parts of Niagara Falls City, Niagara, and the Lake Passway, including eastern and central locals. So parts of Warsaw is gonna get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Uxbridge is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. Peterborough is gonna get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. So Lionshead is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So Sissaga, whatever. So let's go to next hour, which is if it's wrong. So Palm Beach, Sunny Beach, South Bay, Midland, Adela, Betty, Georgia, Baptist, Switch. It's going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall in Peterborough later on. So why it's included. So let's go to next hour. We did Palm Beach, Sunny Beach, South Bay, Midland. Those cities with 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next hour, which is 8 p.m. So So in Peterborough, Uxbridge is going to get some 0.25 millimeters or anything. No, Uxbridge, actually Uxbridge is possible. So let's go to next hour, which is 11 p.m. There is nothing else. So let's go to next hour, which is 8 a.m. There is something. So there is nothing else. 11 a.m. There is something. So what? So wire lines head, Hobie, Boylston, Hanover. Those is are gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to 2 p.m. So line said, Obey, Boylston, Hanover is gonna get some Collingwood, Solid Bay, Palm Beach, Gunwala is gonna get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Thunderbee is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to Barton's gonna get some 2.6.25 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to 5 p.m. There is something. So, like I said, Obey Barton is gonna get some 6.25 millimeters of rainfall. Whereas in Hanover is gonna get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. So, Salt Lake Bay, Midland is gonna get some 0.2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to Palm Beach gonna get some 6.25 millimeters of rainfall. Lala's gonna get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Collingwood's gonna get some 6.25 millimeters of rainfall. Beach gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next hour, which is London. Let's go to next hour, which is 8 p.m. So, line size is gonna get some 6.25 millimeters, 12.5 millimeters of rainfall. Hobbs Bay, Whiteham, Boyles is gonna get some 6.25 millimeters of rainfall. Lingwood is gonna get some 6.25 millimeters of rainfall. Palm Beach, Tanner Beach, Sada Bay is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. Including Georgia, Beverages, Very, Olala. Very, Richmond Hills is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, so that's Brampton. So Orangeville, Newmarket is gonna get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Stouffer gets actually nothing. So let's go to 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Newmarket comes later after 8 p.m. So could be. So not exactly 8 p.m. So let's go to next hour, which is Milan's gonna get some 6.25 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to next actual hour, which is 11 p.m. So this should be a cold one. So Whiteham Poison is gonna get some Fort Layer, which is it's gonna get some 12.5 millimeters of rainfall. Thunder Beach, Solid Beach is gonna get some 6.25 millimeters, including Boyman Land. Palm Beach is gonna get some 2.5 millimeters, including Georgia, Olala. So Barry, Babylon is gonna get some 6.25 millimeters of rainfall. So hopefully, let's double check. So there's going to be It's going to be fourth layer, which is 12.5 millimeters Hobbs weight. And line says it's going to get some 25 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to Hanover. It's going to be 25.5 millimeters of rainfall. Decrease the zero point 0.5 off. So Burke is going to go in Coburg. Is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, including parts of Scarborough. Stouffville is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall for now. So in Sissaga, Brampton, South Toronto, Hill, Scarborough is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. Richmond Hill, Newmarket is still 0.25 because it's not even passing through. So Newmarket, Orange Hills, Stouffville is going to get some 6.25 millimeters of rainfall. That's in Orange Hill, Newmarket. Newmarket gets 2.5 millimeters, Stouffville 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to next tower, which is 8 a.m. There is something. You see the cold fronts moving through. So Niagara Lake, Port Niagara Falls City, Coburg, Belleville. Shawa is gonna get some 0.25 6.25 millimeters of rainfall, including Uxbridge. So Scarborough, Stouffville, Oshawa, Uxbridge. Oshawa is around place. So Hamilton, Oco, Sissaga, Brampton, Downtown Toronto, Richmond Hill. Those are gonna get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. So Orange Only Market is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So Newmark is gonna get some 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. So and so was 2.5 millimeters. So Collingwood, Palm Beach, Sunny Beach, Salaberry, Milan, Alala, Betty, Babylon, Virginia is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next hour. With Niagara Falls City, the heaviest is going to be 6.25, lightest is going to be 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Now I'm gonna take 2.5 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to next hour, which is 11 a.m. There is something. So let's talk about next hour. It's April 5th, 2026. So Coburg, Peterborough, Oshawa, Uxbridge, Narragansett, Niagara Falls City, Whitetown, Poyos, and Hanover, Palm Beach, Sunny Beach, Midland is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, including Salt Bay. So let's go to next hour, which is 2 p.m. There is something. So White Temple in Hanover, Palm Beach, Midland, Olala Bay is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, even as borderline. So let's go to next hour, which is 5 p.m. So White Temple in Hanover, line said it's gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, including Betty, Georgia, Beverly Hills, Peterborough is gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So Niagara Falls City, Niagara on the Lake. Parts of Niagara on the Lake, that's in US, that's in out. Whole thing that's in out. So Balboa's gonna get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to 8 p.m. There is something. So Port Elton, Hanover, Lionshead, Obey, Wharton, Solid Bay, Betty, Georgia, Uxbridge, it's going to get some 0.25 millimeters of nothing. So Niagara Falls is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of rainfall, and the parts of Niagara on the lake is 0.25 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next hour, which is 117 hours. So this video is going to be 17 minutes and 4 seconds. So let's quote is going to open up. So Wharton is going to get some Whitetown Boyles in the Hanover, Collingwood, Bombay, Stanley Beach, Salaby, Milan, Alala, Betty, Georgia, Beverly Hills, Uxbridge is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of snow for an capacity. Peterborough is going to get some, Belvoir is going to get some 0.25 millimeters of snowfall. Let's look at total precipitation. So let's see, the video is 70 minutes, 37 seconds. So let's look at total precipitation, which is rainfall only, with some snowfall. So total precipitation is every type of precipitation except hail. So Whiteton's 8 millimeters, Foyle's is 8 millimeters, Hanover's 8 millimeters. Hopesbury is gonna get some 9 millimeters, Lions is 9 millimeters of rainfall, Bombay's 9 millimeters, Honeybee's 9 millimeters, Sotheby's 8 millimeters, Winland's 8 millimeters. So Lingwood is gonna get some 6 millimeters of rainfall, so let's break down the bridge. So Betty's gonna get some 5.5 millimeters. Virginia's Beverly Hills is all is gonna be 6 millimeters of rainfall. Doesn't vary. We were in Iraq Falls 1 millimeters, Hamilton Oakles 2 millimeters, Oakles Sagas 2 millimeters, Brampton 1 millimeters, Tofu 1 millimeters, Scarborough 1.5 millimeters, Toronto 2 millimeters. Newmarket is 3 millimeters, Orange 3 millimeters, Oaks is 9 millimeters, Oshawa 1 millimeters, Peterborough 5 millimeters. Burke is gonna be 2 millimeters, Balville as well is gonna get some 2 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next hour, which is London. Let's go to next hour, which is April 3rd, 66 hours. So Whiteton, 17 millimeters. Hope's Way is gonna get some 13 millimeters. Lionshead is gonna get some 17 millimeters of rainfall. Borealis is gonna be 21 millimeters or 23 millimeters of rainfall. Dover is gonna get some 16 millimeters, 3 millimeters in Collingwood. Derby's gonna get some 22, 23 millimeters. Bombay's gonna get some 22 millimeters of rainfall. Exit is gonna be 24 millimeters, 12 millimeters of rainfall, 15 millimeters, so 12 millimeters. Lugby is gonna be less 10 millimeters. Midland's gonna get some 7.4 millimeters. Exit is going to be this. Strawberry is gonna get some 6 millimeters of rainfall, 7 millimeters. Virginia is gonna get some 4 millimeters. Babylon is gonna get some 3 millimeters of rainfall, 64 millimeters. So if Niagara Falls City is 2 millimeters, Niagara on the Lake is 0.7 millimeters. Hamilton is going to be 0.7 millimeters, Oak goes 1 millimeters. Renton 4 millimeters, Mississauga 3 millimeters, Toronto 7 millimeters, Scarborough is going to get some 4 millimeters, Tofu 2 millimeters. Newmarket Orangewood 1 millimeters, Uxbridge 1 millimeters, Oshawa 4 millimeters, Peterborough 3 millimeters, Burke is going to be Coburg 0.7 millimeters, Belleville's 1 millimeters. So that's going to be 4 millimeters. So let's go to next hour, which is Friday the Saturday report. So Brighton 4 millimeters, Collingwood 8 millimeters, Hope Day is going to be 11 millimeters. Line said it's going to get some. Line said it's going to get some lightest blue, which is 17.5 millimeters of rainfall, but it's actually going to be 20 millimeters of rainfall. So let's look at Palm Beach, which is 7 millimeters. Tiny Beach is going to get some 4 millimeters of rainfall. Sotheby is going to be 6 millimeters of rainfall. Very close. Midland's going to get some third lightest blue, which is second lightest blue, which is 14, 15 millimeters of rainfall. Lala is going to get some 5 millimeters. So Barry's 1 millimeter. Jordania's 1 millimeters. Bablas is 1 millimeters. Brampton 0.7 millimeters, Richmond Hill is gonna get some 0.7 millimeters. Parts of Scarborough, whatever. So Newmarket, Orange Wolves, Tofu is gonna be 1 millimeters of rainfall, depending how it looks. So Orange Wolves gonna get some 0.6 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to Oakville Hamilton is gonna get some 0.3 millimeters of rainfall. Let's go to Boyles, and Boyles is gonna get some very close. So it's going to be 10 millimeters of rainfall. Hanover is going to be 9 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next hour, which is April the 5th, final day of total precipitation, not videos. So let's go to next hour, London. Let's go to next hour, actually this time. So let's go to 8 p.m. So Whiteton 60 millimeters, Collingwood 8 millimeters, 4 houses 60 millimeters, 15 millimeters. Hanover is going to get some 18 millimeters of rainfall, 19, 20, 20 millimeters. Hope's Bay is gonna get some 16 millimeters. Line says it's gonna get some 16, 15, 14, 13 millimeters of rainfall. It's actually 18 millimeters, 19 millimeters of rainfall. So 18, 19, yeah, 19. It's 20 millimeters. So let's look at Bombay. It's gonna get some 8 millimeters. Tanabe is gonna get some. Tanabe is gonna get some 12 millimeters or 13 millimeters. Sotheby is gonna be 9 millimeters or 10 millimeters. So actually 12.5. So Milan is going to be 8 millimeters, Salala is going to be 9 millimeters, 10 millimeters. Very Bablas, Georgina is going to be 10 millimeters, Bablas is 12 millimeters, Georgina to 10 millimeters, 10 millimeters, Bablas is Georgina Berry. So everywhere Niagara Falls 11 millimeters, Hamilton Ogles 11 millimeters, Ranton Sisaka 15 millimeters, Darton 13 millimeters, Scarborough is 14 millimeters, Stowford 15 millimeters. Orange Pearl, Newmarket 12 millimeters, Uxbridge 13 millimeters, Oshawa 13 millimeters, Peterborough 13 millimeters, Coburg 14 millimeters, Peterborough, Belleville's 13 millimeters, so Oakville 11 millimeters, that's the lightest or heaviest, lightest. Heaviest gonna be 15 millimeters, so 12 millimeters actually, so let's go to next tower, that's not 15 millimeters, actually it's going to be 11 millimeters. 11 millimeters in Oakville, Hamilton, that's the lightest. The heaviest is going to be in Oakville, actually, it's only one. It's going to be 12 millimeters of rainfall. So let's go to next tower, London. Let's go to next tower, which is there is no next tower. So let's look at air temperature pattern. So let's look at total snowfall with some very slow, long videos. So not long. There is nothing else. Let's look at 8 p.m. April the 3rd. There is nothing else. Let's look at April 9th. 4th. There is nothing else. April 5th. There is nothing else. So let's look at total snowfall. So Washington 0.9 centimeters, Royals 1.7, Hanover is going to get some 1.7 centimeters. Line said Obey is going to be 0.3 centimeters, Column is 0.2 centimeters, Sotheby is 0.3 centimeters, Reddy is going to be 0.3 centimeters, but Georgina is 0.3 centimeters. So let's go to next hour. There is no next hour. There is no next hour. So let's look at total freezing rain. So the line said OB is gonna be 1 millimeters of freezing rain, while temporals in other is gonna be 2 millimeters of freezing rain. 1 millimeters of so 1 millimeter of freezing rain is in hardware line said OB, so not white temporals. So let's go white temp -1, temporals in -1, hardware is gonna be 0 degrees. Could be 1 degrees. Line said OB is -3 degrees, Collingwood 1 degree, -1 degree, Sotheby -2 degrees, Bombay is gonna be 1.5 degrees. Thunder Beach -1, Midland is gonna be 2 degrees, Solala 3 degrees, Eddie 4 degrees, Georgina 2 degrees, Beverly Isle is gonna get some 3 degrees. So everywhere Niagara Falls is 4.5 degrees, Hamilton, Oakville 4 degrees, Atlanta 6 degrees, this is August 5 degrees, Downtown 5 degrees, Scarborough 5 degrees, Stouffville 5 degrees. Newmarket is 5 degrees, Hordinsville possibly 4.5 degrees, Uxbridge 4 degrees, Sasha 7 degrees, Coolbrook is 6 degrees, and Louis Peterborough. Balboa 8 degrees, so let's go to next hour, which is 7 a.m. April the 2nd, Thursday. 7 a.m. So your time -2 degrees Wilson, 1 degrees -1.5 Wilson. Hanover, line said always gonna be -1 degrees. Collingwood -2 degrees. Sotheby is gonna get some -3 degrees. Bombay, Sunnybees -3 degrees. Midland -3 degrees. So -4 degrees. So let's look at actually -4.3.45 degrees is Midland. So everywhere now for 2 degrees. Hamilton, Oakville, Sissaga, Brampton, Toronto, Scarborough is gonna be 1 degrees. Stouffville 0 degrees Newmarket, Orangeville, 0 -1 Uxbridge, -2 Oshawa, 0 degrees Peterborough, -3 Coburg, 0 degrees Balboa, -1 degrees. Let's go to Georginia, -1, Beverly Hills is -1, Betty is -2, Honolulu is gonna get some -2, 4 degrees. So let's go to next hour, which is gonna take a while actually, so extra minute. So now we could do. So let's go to 3 p.m. There is something. So Whiteham 1 degrees, Lanesdale, Obi 1 degrees, Royalton 1 degrees, Honolulu 2 degrees, Collingwood 2 degrees, Bombay, Stanley, Saturday, Midland 2 degrees, Olala 2 degrees, Ready 2 degrees, Beverly 3 degrees, Virginia 2 degrees, everywhere in Agfast Tampa 5 degrees, Hamilton Oakers 2 degrees, Ranton 3 degrees, Mississauga 3 degrees, Downtown 3 degrees, Scarborough 4.5 degrees, Toll 4 degrees. Newmarket, Orangeville 4 degrees, Uxbridge 4 degrees, Sasha 5 degrees, Peterborough 3 degrees, Coburg 4 degrees, Balfour 4 degrees. So the temperatures might be too hot for humans. For example, Solid explains. So hottest place in the world is 56 degrees, so 57 degrees. And the coldest places on Earth is around like 90 degrees, minus 90 degrees, or -88 something. So let's look in next hour. So let's look at next hour, which is 7 a.m. So Whitesands 14 degrees, Collingwood to 14 degrees. So that's not the average temperature of Furnace Creek. The average temperature is somewhere like 40 degrees. So warmer than last week is actually. So that's so Boylston's 12 degrees, Hanover that's 12 degrees, Hanover is going to be 15 degrees. So that's double check. So line says going to be 9 degrees. Hope's Way is going to get some 10 degrees. Palm Beach 11 degrees, Solid Beach 11 degrees, Thunder Beach gonna be 10 degrees, Midland gonna get some 14 degrees, Alala is gonna get some 11 degrees, Georgia is gonna get some 10 degrees, Babylon is gonna get some 12 degrees, Reddy's gonna be 12 degrees, 13 degrees. Stouffville 13 degrees, Scarborough 12 degrees, Dr. 11 degrees, Brampton 14 degrees, this is August 11 degrees, Hamilton Oakles 12 degrees, everywhere to 16 degrees. So Newmarket Orange was 13 degrees, Uxbridge 13 degrees, Oshawa 11 degrees, Peterborough 13 degrees, Coburg 9 degrees, Balboa 10 degrees. So let's go to next hour, which is 3 p.m. So White 10 degrees, Collingwood 15 degrees, Warriors 8 degrees, Hanover is gonna get some numbers. So Hanover is gonna get some 11 degrees. So Line said OB is gonna get some 6 degrees. So okay, let's go to Line said OB, which is Line said OB is gonna get some 9 degrees. That's proper temperature. So let's look at Bombay 10 degrees, Solid Base 10 degrees, 11 degrees. Thunder Bay is gonna be the Solid Base like 9 degrees, 8 degrees in this 8 degrees is gonna be Thunder Beach. Georginia's 12 degrees, 11 degrees. Beverly Hills 31 degrees, where he's gonna get some 16 degrees, between 16 17, 17 degrees. Olula is gonna get some 15 degrees, so everywhere in Agfast 21 degrees, Hamilton Ogle 17 degrees, Brampton 24 degrees, Sissaga 17 degrees, Toronto 18 degrees. Sissaga is gonna be 19 degrees, Tofu 24 degrees, 21 degrees, Scarborough. Newmarket, Orange Falls 23 degrees, Hooksville 22 degrees, South Shores 18 degrees, Peterborough 21 degrees, Coburg 13 degrees, cold Belleville 18 degrees. So let's go to next tower, Sissaga. Let's go to next tower, which is Milan. It's gonna be 14 degrees. So so let's look at next tower properly this time. Let's look at 7 a.m. So White 11 1 degrees, Line said Obi 1 degrees, Collingwood 2 degrees, Boyles is 2 degrees, Hanover is gonna be 1 degrees to 8 degrees. Palm Beach, Thunder Beach, Solid Beach, 1 degrees, Midland, 0 degrees, Alala, 0 degrees, Ready, 1.5 degrees, Virginia is going to be 2 degrees, Fabulous is 2 degrees, so everywhere in Agfast 5.5 degrees, Hamilton, Oakland 4 degrees, Brampton, Mississauga 4 degrees, Downton 4 degrees, Scarborough 2.5 degrees, Tofu 2 degrees, Newmarket 3 degrees, Orange Shore 2 degrees, Hooksville 1 degrees, Oshawa 3 degrees, Peterborough 1 degrees, Coburg 2 degrees, Balboa 1 degree, so let's go to next tower, which is, so 3 p.m. So Boylston is gonna be 15 degrees. Hanover is gonna get some 17 degrees, 16 degrees. Collingwood 11 degrees. So Line said Bay is gonna be 7 degrees. Solid Bay is gonna get some 7 degrees. Bombay is gonna get some 9 degrees, 11 degrees, so actually 9 degrees. Tanabe is gonna get some 7 degrees. Vinland's gonna get some 9 degrees because pink. So Urula is gonna be 10 degrees, 8 degrees. Virginia is gonna get some 7 degrees. Wablias is gonna be 10 degrees. Valley is gonna be 10 millimeters, 10 degrees. So everywhere Niagara Falls is going to be whatever. Niagara on the Lake 12 degrees, Niagara Falls City is 22 degrees. Hamilton Ogles 5 degrees, Brampton 7 degrees, Mississauga 5 degrees, Toronto 5 degrees, Scarborough 6 degrees, Oval 7 degrees, Newmarket Orange Shores 8 degrees, Hooksville 9 degrees, Oshawa 8 degrees, Peterborough 9 degrees, Coburg 6 degrees, Belleville 10 degrees. So let's go to next hour, which is which is probably let's go to 7 a.m. April the 5th Sunday. So which is 8 a.m. So Whiteham 4 degrees, Line said Obey's 3 degrees, Wales 3 degrees, Hanover is gonna be 4 degrees, Collingwood 4 degrees. Solid Bay 4 degrees, Thunder Bay 3 degrees, Bombay's 4 degrees, Midland 4 degrees, Alala 5 degrees, so 4 degrees, 5 degrees, Berry 5 degrees, Bablas 5 degrees, Georgia 5 degrees. Everywhere in Grand Falls 9 degrees, Hamilton Ogle 7 degrees, Brampton, Mississauga 7 degrees, Atherton 7 degrees, Stouffville 6 degrees, Scarborough 7 degrees, Newmarket Orange 5 degrees, Hooksville 5 degrees, Oshawa 7 degrees, Peterborough 6 degrees, Coburg 6 degrees, Belleville 7 degrees. So let's go to next hour, which is 3 p.m. So it's gonna take a while actually. So 2 p.m. So Brighton 3 degrees, Line said Obey 2 degrees, Boyles 2 degrees, Hardaware 3 degrees, Collingwood 4 degrees. Lugby is gonna get some 4 degrees, Bomb Beach 4 degrees, Thunder Beach 1 degrees, Midland is going to get some 4 degrees, Bomb Beach, Solid Beach, Bomb Beach wrong temperature, it's going for 2 degrees. So Georgia is gonna be 5 degrees, 6 degrees, and Bablas is Barry 4 degrees, Alala 4 degrees, so it's actually 5 degrees in those Barry and Alala. So let's go to Everywhere in America was 8 degrees. Hamilton, Oakland, 7 degrees. Brampton, Mississauga, 7 degrees. Atlanta, Scarborough, Stowe, 7 degrees. Oshawa, 8 degrees. Peterborough, 7 degrees. Cobourg, 6 degrees. Melbourne, 9 degrees. Newmarket, Orangeville, 6 degrees. Wilkes-Barre, it's 6 degrees. So let's go to Oakland, holding 7 degrees. So there is no next hour. So this is the end of the video. So I'm gonna show the actual average temperature in Burns Creek and Antarctica. So this is